What is up, my peepholes? This is your guy, Cly, and welcome back to Budget Buys. I wasn't expecting to have another one of these videos out this week, but it's the kind of situation where if the iron is hot, you've got to strike, and it's glowing cherry red right now. Today's video is all about 7-Eleven and their spinners, which, to be fair, I wasn't going to actually make a video on. Everybody and their next of kin has already done a 7-Eleven spinner video, and I didn't want to seem too samey. At least that's how it was until I stopped into my local 7-Eleven yesterday while out on a walk, just wanted to get a drink, and I came across this little guy. I know, the packaging is just breathtaking, isn't it? So, yeah, the special thing about this is it's an LED lit spinner. Let's see if I can get a good shadow on it, because my lighting is washing it out ever so slightly. There we go. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and take it out of this breathtaking packaging right now. Ooh, do I have it upside down? No, I don't. There we go. And there we are. Oh, good. Now I've got all three glowing, not spinning. Now it's spinning. I'm thinking ahead. What can I say? So yeah, this is a very plain looking tri-spinner with LEDs in it. I don't have much else to say until I show you just how amazing it is while spinning, so let's go ahead and fade into the spin test. That was amazing, wasn't it? So, be honest with me, how many of you accurately predicted how long this was going to spin? You don't have to be spot on, I'll accept a ballpark estimate. Personally, I was within 10 seconds, and I'm not going to tell you if I was over or under. I was within 10 seconds of this little guy. And the spin time all comes down to construction. And construction actually validates one of my theories. Well, the construction and the lovely packaging. And that theory is that 7-Eleven gets their fidget spinners from all kinds of suppliers, whichever ones are convenient and still have some in stock. Because this makes 3 different types of packaging I've seen. And actually, this is the second LED spinner design I've seen from them, being of the lower end of the quality spectrum when it comes to these. The other styles I've seen are actually 2-ended bar spinners like this that are clear injected plastic, so they look like they've actually had a bit of engineering go into them. Clear housing, you can see all of the circuitry inside. The circuits are actually connected. It looks well made, if not a little lightweight, kind of like this, which is why the spin was so terrible. As for this, what they did is they took your bare minimum effort. They just took a standard tri-spinner housing that you can get all over the place online and put little pucks in it. Let me just go ahead and pop these out, actually. I'm going to take 2 if I can manage it. There we go. 1, and come on. There we go. 2. So they just pop right out. These are just standard plastic. It looks to be high density polyethylene. And let's just see, you can see the circuit board right there. In the circuit proper, you have 3 integrated LEDs. I honestly do not know if it contains a control circuit or if the LEDs themselves have an integrated control, because I have seen where LEDs have a built-in RGB rotation, built-in blink timers, things like that. So you don't even need a circuit, or not a circuit, a chip on the board to control that. And if we flip it over, you've got the battery. It's a little 3 volt button cell. I cannot speak, I swear. And if you look next to it, right there is a rocker switch, or not a rocker switch, a vibration switch. I'm just getting all of my terminology mixed up today. A little vibration switch. Basically, all a vibration switch is a little metal housing. One end has a spring on it that is wired up. The other end has a metal rod. The metal rod goes into the spring. When there's a vibration, they make contact with each other, and it acts as a momentary button. Now's where things get interesting. This is why I actually pulled the second one. Because if you haven't noticed through most of the video, one of these doesn't light up as well as the others. Oh, it is going on a walkabout. I'll be right back after I get that. Okay, I got it back. Like I was trying to say before this one on a walkabout, if you haven't noticed, this one actually lights up a lot dimmer than the other two. And if I flip it over, the construction is a little bit different when it comes to the battery pad. So I can't tell you exactly what kind of battery is in here, but the dimness is indicative that it's either an older model and therefore the battery is much more along in its lifespan, or it could be using a 1.5 volt. One of those two scenarios is happening. Also, did you notice something very important about the batteries? They cannot be removed. Unless I were to carve it out in some way, shape, or form, you cannot replace the batteries in these once they die. That's just bad design. I don't know if you can replace the batteries in the clear ones that I was talking about, but at least those have a seam that you can split and then re-glue to replace the batteries. This, you have to completely destroy this piece to get that out, and then either pour a new epoxy or do something to make it so that the battery just doesn't go flying out when you're done. Speaking of batteries, here's one thing I would change other than the fact that you can't change the batteries. Instead of using the CR1220s than this, which are much smaller and most likely alkaline, I would have gone with some CR2032s, colloquially known as coin cells. They're a bit heftier, and this specific brand happens to have lithium, which lasts a lot longer than your standard alkaline. So not only is a 2032 a longer lasting battery in general, but for $1, I was able to get my hands on 2 lithium cells, and that's buying them down at my local Dollar Tree. I could wholesale them if I were in a factory, get a much heavier, well, okay, noticeably heavier, not much heavier, but noticeably heavier piece, and still get more power. So they shaved off a little bit there. Also, this is nothing more than cast plastic. Put a ball bearing or two in here to give me a little bit more weight. That would be nice too. So yeah, those are some of my basic complaints about this. And yet, here I'm sitting with one that I got for 88 cents, this little Mick spinner. It goes for over 2 minutes, so I kind of feel ripped off paying the $11.99 for this guy versus the 88 cents for this guy. Heck, I would be feeling ripped off if I paid the $11.99 versus the $8.99, well no, $7.99 they're charging for standard fidget spinners over at 7-Eleven. It gets worse though, because I actually found not only this exact model on AliExpress, the website where I picked this little guy up, but they actually had multiple colors, so I wouldn't be stuck with just white. I could have gotten a nice green one because I love green. And it would have set me back $2.50. I would have had to wait a couple of weeks to get it, but I feel my wait would be worth the additional, oh, what is it, $9.50? Yeah, I would not buy this of my own free will. I bought it to review because I needed to let you folks know, don't buy it. Not only can you pick up a matching model for, oh, let's see how, that doesn't really affect the spin that much. Not only can you pick up the exact same model for $2.50, but you can get fancier, because for an extra $1.50, so $4, you can get machined aluminum LED fidget spinner in a tri-spinner configuration that it's just so pretty. I would rather get that. I would rather pay $11.99 for that to get it immediately. Not so much this little guy. And I actually believe the aluminum one had a replaceable battery, so it gets better. Let's talk some numbers really quick, actually, since I'm throwing around the AliExpress stuff. The AliExpress items are the end user price, or if you're buying small batches. If you go to their parent website, Alibaba.com, you can go direct to manufacturer and pick up the LED spinners for about $1 each if you buy them by the crate. Let's say 7-Eleven doesn't do that. They just go to AliExpress instead and picks up the ones that they want. 2 weeks later, they can sell them back to you for $5, doubling their money, and not charging you an additional $7. Or, let's say they go through a distributor. That distributor would be more inclined to pick them up at $1 each in the larger batches, sell them for double their money, let's say $2. Then 7-Eleven picks them up and sells them back to you. The standard wholesale rate is they pay 40% of what they're going to pay or charge you at the end. So many numbers going around, so little time. So you would still end up paying $5. I would pay $5 for this to have it immediately. Mainly just to show off and be like, ooh, look, it lights up. I would not pay $12.99 if I weren't reviewing it. Somewhere in that little tree I told you about, someone's getting scalped. So if the cool novelty products or whatever, yeah, cool novelty products, okay, I don't know how that one flew around. Cool novelty products ended up paying the $1 each. They really gouged 7-Eleven, who then wanted to double their money, and the gouge was passed on to you. If cool novelty products was just so short-sighted that they were actually paying $2.50 a pop and then doubled their money, and then 7-Eleven doubled their money, well, it was cool products, or cool novelty products that got ripped off, and the gouge got passed on to you. At the end of the day, the gouge got passed on to you. Don't buy it. Buyer beware. The only time I could see this being a worthy product to buy is if you have a screaming youngin'. If you've got a kid that is just so bound and determined to get their hands on the light-up spinner, pay the money. It's worth your sanity. Just be prepared for the screams when it stops lighting up, or it doesn't get the same spin time that their friends' spinners do, even though it doesn't light up. Just don't do it. If you do have a child that really wants this spinner, and they are actually willing to wait, buy one on AliExpress, get a non-light-up spinner elsewhere, or at 7-Eleven for $7.99, and you will end up ahead and they have 2 spinners. Doesn't that sound like a better deal? Anyway, I've ranted on long enough. Let's go ahead and transition to the end screen. My blood's still a little boiling, and yeah, I'm going to ramble for like 15 more minutes if I let myself go forward with this. And that, my fine peepholes, is the LED light-up fidget spinner from 7-Eleven. I do apologize for the rant at the end there, but thinking about the numbers kind of got my blood boiling, and I felt it would be important information for anyone thinking about making the purchase. Anyway, if you like this video, feel free to leave a like. If you dislike this video or feel I could have done something better, go ahead and leave a dislike. I don't mind. If you have any suggestions for items to review in the future, or you just want to say hello, go ahead and leave a comment. I try to reply to everybody, or at least as long as I can keep up. If you want to see more fidget toy videos, I'll go ahead and pop up a playlist. And of course, if you want to subscribe, feel free to do so. That way you can be alerted every time I have a new video, be they spinner or non. And of course, until next time, this is your Guy Cly, signing off.